Hi, and welcome to a very special edition of Inside Tracks YouTube videos. This is a video which is based around the questions and answers that I'm being sent by patrons of mine. This one is from Dave H, and it asks the question, what is your daily routine when trading Betfair? So I'll be doing that in the next 20 minutes or so, looking at what my daily routine is. I hope that it will give you some good clues as to where what I do and what I think about and where I get my information from. So hopefully you find that useful and you can use it or otherwise as you see fit. If you too want to become a patron and be able to ask me questions that I can then do videos on, please click on the little icon at the top right, and you can become a patron and all the benefits that brings. If you like this video, please do like it and subscribe for further videos as they come out. So let's have a quick look at what Dave H has been asking me about. So there you go, Dave. There you are in all your glory. I'd like to know how you approach each day, e.g. your morning routine, checks for possible trades. I also get what you're saying to me, Dave. I'm afraid my website's been hacked several times, and I'm trying to get it back up and running properly so that you can get your back-to-lay calculators and all the blogs and the track facts. Yeah, there are a couple which have broken links, so I've got to do quite a lot on that. Hopefully, I'll get sorted out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I'll be going now into what is my approach on each day when I'm trading. So where do I start each day? I start each day on the homepage at the races. Often I'll do this the night before. I find that's quite useful. It can also give you some clues about what's going on. So let's just go into how I do this. So today's cards. Today's Sunday, so there isn't a lot of racing on today. As you can see, it's Ripon, Stratford, and then some Irish racing. Normally there's 3 or 4 flat race meetings on. Over the winter, of course, there's only a couple of all-weather meetings on each day. I'm going to do Ripon today, so let's click immediately into all races. And then what you can do with this page is quite simply give yourself an overview of what's going on at the meeting. So what I look for is the type of a race. Okay, so it's a stakes race, 2-year-olds. There's not a lot of form on show, and so I generally don't get heavily involved in these. My advice to you with stakes races, 2-year-old stake races, is that there's a lot of people out there who know a lot more about the horses than you and I. There's no form or any previous to go on. The people who know are the trainers, jockeys, stable hands, and those people associated with them, those people out on the gallops and so on. So my advice is that, generally speaking, the money that's going on to the horses is the money that knows what's going on. If you're in a yard where you know, for instance, Lethally Lovely is going to take a couple of races to get a head around it, then if you're a part of Adrian Nichols' stable, you're probably going to be laying this horse, so its price is going to be going out, and vice versa. So I would, if you want to trade on a race like this, my advice is, firstly, the statistics tell you that stakes races are more often won by the favourite than handicaps, significantly more often. So the favourite is, generally speaking, got more chance of winning, often up to 50% chance. You can check that out in the Racing Post. It gives you numbers by the different types of race meetings, stake races for 2-year-olds, stakes races for 3-year-olds plus, handicaps for 2-year-olds, and handicaps for 3-year-olds plus. So you can get a decent view on what the course does, but generally speaking, stakes races, the favourite wins more. So that's a strategy that you can follow, but I don't tend to get involved. What I'm looking for is handicaps, generally 4-year-old pluses, but 3-year-old pluses is okay if you've got enough to go on. And I'm looking for the course and what the course does. So I know that already. I've done my my research through TrackFacts or other sources, and I see that Ripon, for instance, is a course where being up with the pace is useful. So that's what I'm looking for in any kind of event. There doesn't seem to be a huge draw bias at Ripon, albeit that depending on the going, it can make a difference where you're drawn from. So I'm looking for that. The other thing I'm looking for is jockeys and trainers, and whether they're present or not, and whether I'm expecting them to be here. At the moment, I'm seeing that I'm expecting to see most of these guys, the Tudhopes, the Dave Allens, etc. Kevin Stott. These are the people I'm expecting to see at a Ripon meeting. So I'm going down and I'm looking for any kind of anomaly to that. Tom Marquand, he does come up north. Generally, he comes up north for a reason. So Tom is up, and we did this particular horse as an outsider or as a long shot. And last time out, and Tom is up to take the ride today. So that's not a bad distance for him to come. And we'll see whether he's got other rides. I think he has today. So looking for the different types. This is a 3-year-old handicap again. Probably too little form. It's over 1 mile 1. And I'm looking for who's here and who's riding for who. Franny Norton for Mark Johnson is normal. Megan Nichols has come up, and there's Hugh Taylor. Hugh Taylor, I tend to. Anybody who reads my newsletters will know that I'm not a great Hugh Taylor fan. He tends to tip, and then the particular horse in question dives in the betting. So Golden Dove, if you were looking the night before, is a 16-1 shot. Now that it's been given the Hugh Taylor treatment, we'll have a quick look. It's down to 4-1. Now 4-1 is almost bound to be far too low. I mean, Megan Nichols, good jockey. Tim Easterby's doing very well, but generally speaking, if you looked at the overnight betting situation, and the market movers will tell you that's it. It was at 8-1. It's now at 4-1. Probably the 8-1 is where the value is. 4-1, you've completely lost the value, and now that's probably better laid, and that often you'll see me saying lay it at 4-1 and probably back it in running at about 6 or 7-1 and make some money on it. So that's I'd expect that to drift. Also between now and 3 o'clock, I expect that to drift. So you're seeing it at 6 and yeah, that's the red, so it's drifting. So that's what I'm looking for. I divert myself a bit from what I'm trying to talk about, but I'm looking for those opportunities, going down each race, looking at the different jockeys and partnerships, and seeing where's the best sort of area. I mean, Toto, I expect to get a winner today. This is one that Timeform likes. It's got good form, so I would expect that to give a bold showing. But I'd be starting to look at. Okay, that's one that I might be looking at. Coming down further, we're seeing who else is here. Tom's got another one here for McAppleby. Doesn't look to have quite such a good chance as the last one. Where else have we got? Balding first and Gosden. So here we see different trainers bringing a single horse up. Tom Marquand's probably here for the Balding horse. So Zoom Tiger must have a really very good chance in this particular race. So that's what I'm looking for. Go down to the last race, Sunday. You don't really want to be here. Sunday 5:05. You want to be back having a Sunday roast. And of course, the professional jockeys and the senior jockeys will go great. we're off to have a Sunday race. Let the apprentices stay behind and fight out the last race. Of course, we see our old friend Dapper Man. Anybody who's followed my newsletter will know that Dapper Man is a favorite because he comes out in front. And I'll show you something about that in just a minute. But this would be a cause for me to sit up. It's a 5 furlong race. It's at Ripon. That one there is where he won, was a 5 furlong race at Ripon. So I would be quite interested in looking further at that. So that's where I go to. I go to the today's cards, and then I go into the all races, and I start looking for where the different jockeys are, where the different trainers are. I'm looking for the course. What am I looking for? I mean, for instance, 5 furlongs at Chester. You're looking for a front runner with a low draw. So all these things I'm looking for to see whether what's going to pique my interest and hone down the amount of choice and who I want to hone in on. So as soon as I've been through the meetings today and I've identified interesting jockey placements, interesting races for back delays, interesting races where I think that pace will be of interest, etc. So I've begun to hone down the races where I think, yeah, I'm interested in looking at those races in more detail, and then go out to a few other sources. My Racing, they're quite a good crowd. They tend to have quite a good record in their own naps. So Aroca Romana is not bad. And they give quite a good analysis of the horse. So sometimes actually, I wind up thinking, oh yeah, that's a very interesting race from my initial analysis, and then I come here and I find these guys are on a similar page to me, and they add a bit of extra that makes me make my mind up or not. I also use some jockey or trainer blogs. Shin Murphy does one. I use his not as much for the day on the day. I use his more for looking at races that he's been through, because he likes to give you some feedback. So when Bounce the Blues ran here at Lingfield last time out, I did put him into my newsletter, and he's saying he should have won, and it was his fault. It's frustrating. So actually, Bounce the Blues is going to go into my race at the races tracker, and also I'll be putting in here. She's in good form, but she's very ground dependent and wouldn't run a lot faster than good. So again, that will go into the tracker. And what I find is that trainers and jockeys blogs are sometimes good for the day, and sometimes good for just having that extra information in the tracker, and then the tracker comes up and will give me that information on the day. Other places you go to, I find this a lot a bit lazy. There are a lot of them, and if you look at their record, it's not great, but sometimes some of the analysis is okay and can add to your in understanding of the races that you're interested in. Rachel Candelora there, she often commentates on evening races, particularly down in Kempton. I don't know quite why, maybe it's near where she lives, but she's actually does her research pretty well, I think. So you can use that or places like that to go to and to have a look and add information to your original analysis and try and create that picture you want. So as I said, I often put the information I gather on the day or from watching all the racing into my ATR tracker, and that will then give me information the night before. As you can see, Dapper Man I saw was a strong front runner. Anybody who knows me knows I like back delays. So when this came up 4-1, we went to put it into the newsletter. we had a close, obviously a close look at the race, and the end result of that was that Dapper Man made all edged right over one furlong out, rid and hung right, final furlong ran on. So made a decent amount of money on that particular back to lay. And you know, Safi Osborne, Jamie's daughter, good jockey, got on very well with the horse, and Roger Fell's good trainer. So so that's how we can pick out the ones we want.
Recording in progress.
So back to doing my research. If it was today, I'd be saying, okay, I've picked out this race, 5 furlong race at Ripon. I've seen that it needs you know, someone who's prominent, front runner preferably, and I've seen my old friend Dapper Man there. So what I'll do is now go into it and have a quick look and see whether this is in fact something I'm going to get into. So we go into it, and immediately we see Dapper Man is favourite, which I wasn't really expecting. I wasn't expecting him to be favourite. The overnight did have him as favourite, but I wasn't really expecting that. However, a few of them have dropped out. That probably has helped his favouritism. So now what we're going to do is going to do some additional research based around some of the ATR tools and some of our own knowledge. So, for instance, on the pace side, we're very well aware that Dapper Man likes to be out in front, but we're also seeing here that Yolo again absolutely wants to be out in front, and Harrogate may also want to lead. So we'll do a quick look at that. Yolo again, does she really want to get out in front and stay out? Led, yep, she did there. Made most until it headed. Okay, what was out in front? Led, yeah, wanted to be out in front. Led, first of all, wanted to be out in front. Chased leaders, okay, didn't necessarily. Close up, didn't necessarily. But last 4 has wanted to be out in front, and I think that therefore we'll see this horse trying to go forward and trying to get out in front. Let's do the next one, which will be, let's see if Harrogate wants to be out in front, because we know Dapper Man does. Went right start, track leader, went right start, prominent, led, keen lead, led. So last 2 being prominent as favourite, was being prominent, being beaten twice as well as favourite. Probably want to be prominent, but maybe not out in front, maybe want to be out in front. So you've got 3 there, 2 definitely, who are going to be running and trying to get into the lead. This one close up behind. So there's going to be a lot of pace in this race. It's soft, heavy in places. That means it's going to need a lot of stamina. And my thoughts are that therefore Dapper Man is not going to be a very sensible back to lay, because he's never going to get a big lead. He's going to be up there fighting with Yolo again, and maybe Harrogate as well. That may well be a cutthroat situation. And so I won't be putting Dapper Man up as a back to lay, because I don't think he's going to win either. Because I think that the 3 of them are going to go off at a breakneck pace on heavy ground, leaving it open to a closer. So let's have a quick look at the form scan. That's the last one I look at. And the form scan says that if you wanted to back Dapper Man, you'd be going somewhat against the form, because it appears that Belvada may well have some form that would say that he may well give Dapper Man a good run for his money. And in the situation where these 2 cut each other's throats, then my thoughts are that Belvada may well come over the top. So we can see that this is not a particular race for me. I mean, it might have been if the pace angle had been all in Dapper Man's favour, then I would very much so want to put him up as a back to lay. But where you've got 3 that are going to cut each other's throats, then I think you'd be better on one of the hold-up horses and expect them to come through at the end and give the front runners a very good run for the money. Okay, so we've resumed, reviewed all of our information. We've got everything together in one place, and we're taking a view on what now we're going to put into the newsletter and what is also going to form the basis of our trading strategy later on in the day. So I'll give you an example of the newsletter. The newsletter for the 7th of May. And here we saw one of our very favorite horses, El Astronaute, one of my favorites, blessed with blistering early speed. He can get to the front, and that's most of the battle over 5 furlongs. Fancy him to hold on. So there you go. El Astronaute became our back to lay for the day. And I'll just show you what happened. So here we are, the Chester 5 furlongs with El Astronaute, and this is what happened. So you can see El Astronaute got out of stall 4, poached 4 lengths at the start, and basically, I'm not going to show you the whole race, but basically that 4 lengths at the start meant that El Astronaute actually did go on and win by 3/4 of a length. So you know, King's Lynn, who was 11 to 10 favourite, was only 3/4 of a length behind, quite possibly should have won that race. But El Astronaute was so fast out the stalls that he took 4 lengths out of the field, and that made all the difference. And this is the sort of thing that I'll be looking for as my information to put into the newsletter and to use for my strategies. So when I saw El Astronaute come flying out the stalls 4 lengths in front, I cancelled my lay bet in running. I cashed out my stake at I think I cashed it out at 1.5, and I took the rest as winning. So that is the sort of thing that can give you a really decent return. Why was it so predictable that El Astronaute was going to give me a return on my money? Well, you can see this from the Timeform page. So this is a very useful page for you to go to. It gives you the BSP, Betfair starting price, the in-play high lows. So basically in that Chester win, 15 to 8, as you saw, 2.93 on Betfair. It never went above 2.88. So in running, it never went above its BSP. And of course, it didn't have a low because it won. Here, 5.7, 3.55. So you're making 2 points there. 3.82, 1.34. You didn't lose any money here. In this particular race, York wouldn't have been a great place for El Astronaute to lead and stay, because York is a very wide track that does not suit front runners, and hence 9 from 9. Here, of course, he won. Here, 114 to 14, 4.3 to 2.54, 99 to 60. So almost every single race for the last 10 races, he has beaten his BSP by some considerable amount, and of course won twice. So that gives you a decent return. So here you can see the way in which you can also give yourself a real good feeling that you're going to be onto the right track. And of course, we're talking Chester, 5 furlongs, and he was the quickest horse by far coming out of the stalls, and therefore that's why he was such a good back to lay candidate. So Dave, I hope that answers your question. I have a daily routine. I go from a wide look at the races, honing them down via different criteria: the type of race, the course, the distance, the draw. Then I look for jockeys out of their normal mode, where they've travelled the distance, where they've had a choice of meetings, for instance. You know, where Gosden's horses are running at 3 meetings. Where does Frankie Dettori wind up? Where does Rab Havlin wind up? That'll give you a good view as to the increased chances of that horse, or what, you know, you've got a very good chance of that horse winning because the jockey has decided to travel not 10 miles down the road to Newmarket, but 150 miles up the road to Doncaster. Then you know that the horse they're going to Doncaster for has a much better chance than the horse running at Newmarket. Then look for other information, get some confirmation, get some further information from you know, some of the decent websites. Another one that I would recommend, but you have to generally pay for, is Inform Racing. They give a very good analysis, and I'll be talking about this in my next video, which is looking at back delays, particularly dobbing, which I've been asked about. Then add in your ATR, your some of the research you've been doing each day, and the tracker that you've been putting in from trainers' blogs, from jockeys' blogs, from your own viewing of videos of the racing, so that you get some further view as to what's going on and why you said it. And then what I do is I boil that all down into my newsletter, where I give generally 4 decent tips. Often as you know, if you have my newsletter, which is free, by the way, to anyone who wants it, you get a nap of the day, you get a couple of back delays normally, or certainly one. You get something that I think is too short in the market, that looks to be a lay or a lay to back. And you'll also get a view on a sort of a long shot, where you can either do your place, or you can do a back to lay, or you can do an each way. Okay, if you've liked the video and you are not a patron and want to become, go to the I at the top of the screen. If you like the video, please like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, let's see you on the next one.